Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of pre-E3 coverage here on JoyClicks. I'm your host, Christian Buckley. Joining me for the Nintendo preview is Austin Cabral.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
I'm happy to have you back. We had a nice Pokemon discussion earlier. Now we're going to open things up and get more all-encompassing Nintendo, not just Pokemon.
Oh yeah, the big stuff.
Yes, so I was mentioning this to you. I'm glad that we decided to do the Pokemon Direct separately, because similarly, Nintendo chose to focus on Pokemon a week ahead of their E3 conference, and I think that was a smart call.
I think it was definitely a smart call. It's something that they have usually done. The Pokemon Company likes to do their own separate thing and then have like a little bit of gameplay at E3.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that, as of right now at least, Sword and Shield is the biggest Switch exclusive of the year. And similar to last year, I think when they had Smash be the biggest exclusive and Smash took up a ton of time in the Direct, I didn't mind that, but I know a lot of people had issues with the fact that so much of their E3 Direct was just dedicated to Smash.
Yeah, I think having the separate Direct for Pokemon was really smart in that same logic, because now it's a perfect balance of being able to focus on all the other big releases like Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, all the stuff that we heard about but still don't know too much about.
Speaking of not knowing much about yet, I think we should probably sweep away the things that most likely aren't going to show up this year. Metroid Prime 4. Not expecting to see it.
No, definitely not.
Not expecting to see anything. Not even like a CG trailer, nothing.
Yeah. Bayonetta 4.
3?
Or 3.
Right.
Yeah. Bayonetta 3, I don't expect anything from either.
I don't either. I could see maybe another cinematic trailer or like a concept trailer just because it's been in the dark for so long. But yeah, I really don't know. I'm not expecting it. I kind of think there might be something wrong with the development of that game, or maybe it's just not a priority for them right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's fair to say it probably won't show up. And I think Star Fox Racing, Star Fox Grand Prix, I'm saying if it does not show up at E3, it never existed.
Definitely never existed. I think that was just the speculation of that
The Starlink mode?
Yeah, the Starlink stuff, especially since they added more Star Fox, like expanded on the Star Fox stuff in that game.
Yeah. I think like somebody saw the Starlink racing mode and then they were like, "Oh, it's an R-Wing that's racing. I got a scoop here." So if it doesn't show up here, then it probably never existed. But Nintendo's E3 Direct this year is Tuesday, June 11th, as normal. It's the Tuesday before E3's actual show starts that morning. 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm excited for this. This is always a nice, like, really chill dessert for the E3 conference courses. I always like this Nintendo Direct. It's nice in the morning. I want to open with another game that may or may not show up. I really don't know what to expect from this. Retro's project they've been working on since Tropical Freeze. I'm assuming they have been working on a game. Do you think that they will show something that is not Metroid Prime related at E3 this year?
I would certainly like to think so. Especially, we did get that fun little tease. I don't know if you saw on Reggie's Twitter with the picture that they gave him.
Robot hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that could be a new IP that we see. I'm expecting some sort of new IP.
In general, or just from Retro?
Just in general.
Okay.
You know, E3 is usually when they like to go and introduce the newest IPs. Like they did it with Splatoon, they did it with ARMS. So
ARMS was actually the Switch reveal event.
Yeah,
I always forget that. That was something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So retro, I'm hoping to see something, even if it is just another Donkey Kong game. I would be over the moon for that because Tropical Freeze is amazing. I love Donkey Kong 64. I'd love to see a new 3D Donkey Kong, which we'll touch on towards the end when we get into hopes and dreams. But I'm hopeful that retro will show something. Maybe it's the Metroid Prime trilogy because that's been rumored forever. But something that is more surefire of we're probably getting this. This may be the biggest focus of the direct. This may be the Nintendo show floor theme this year. Animal Crossing.
I honestly think that that could be their biggest reveal. Over the years, I've definitely seen an increase in popularity with the games. Everybody loves the 3DS game. And ever since they gave us that one trailer with Tom Nook.
Oh god, that I lost my mind that day. That was the like when Sakurai did the King K. Rool reveal. I thought that was funny because he was like, "Aha, gotcha" with the King Dedede thing.
Right.
The Animal Crossing one was cruel and uncalled for. It's been so long since Animal Crossing got revealed. They fade into Isabel's office, and then the thing that really gets me is the end with the Tom Nook thing that you just brought up. It's so slow, and the music it's like bum 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 bum. It's like they're playing with you and they know it. It was so frustrating.
Mm-hmm. I've never been a big Animal Crossing guy, but I definitely want to give this one a chance.
Oh, I think this is gonna be probably one of the best selling Switch exclusives.
Oh yeah. Like I honestly, for me, the Switch has always been giving new IPs a chance. Like I never played Splatoon 1, but now I am obsessed with Splatoon 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Switch is a really good opportunity to hop in on franchises. For instance, my friend Jack, who's playing Pokemon for the first time, decided to play Pokemon for the first time because he's really excited about Sword and Shield. And I know several other people that Breath of the Wild was their first Zelda game. So Animal Crossing, I think, similar to how New Leaf on the 3DS did really well, I think Animal Crossing on Switch is going to do astronomically well.
Oh yeah.
I really dug the vibes of Animal Crossing on the GameCube. I only rented it a couple times. I never owned it. New Leaf though on 3DS, I put at least 200 hours into that game. So the Switch, I'm counting on double that because I'm actually getting it when it comes out, not a couple years after.
Right.
So I'm excited for Animal Crossing. I hope it's like a really solid expansion on what New Leaf did well. So like essential Animal Crossing. I don't want this weird gimmick. I don't want like, oh, everything's in the Wild West. Like there was that DS game that was focused on like a Western aesthetics. I just want a really high fidelity, nice looking, simple Animal Crossing. That's what I hope for.
Would you want it to be more of like a reboot? Kind of like keeping it like basic?
I'm not sure. Like I think New Leaf almost perfected that formula of just talking to your neighbors. New Leaf did something nice where it was actually you were the mayor of the town.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a lot more customization options for the town, and you could enact ordinances. So like you can make it so if you're gone for a long period of time, your community would keep the place clean. So when you come back like 3 weeks after not playing, there's not weeds everywhere that you have to pull up. Okay. So it gave you a more like big picture control over the game. So I think an interesting approach would be to just make like a better looking New Leaf, make it a little more open, and add on stuff. I don't want like a re-envisioning of like, oh, crazy new mechanic. Maybe like find a cool way to implement camping with Pocket Camp, or a nice sort of connected feeling with your friends' towns. If they want to do something like that, I wouldn't be opposed to them focusing on that for an Animal Crossing game, but like I don't need some really weird everything's made out of bricks or something like that. I don't need
we don't need the gimmicks.
Yeah, because the thing is with Animal Crossing, what's nice is the gimmicks are seasonal. Because the holidays, the town changes and the seasons change and the weather changes, and that's enough. Animal Crossing is just chill. That's all it needs to be.
I'm with you
Um,
on that.
so moving on, I guess, because there's not much else to talk about for Animal Crossing outside of what I hope it is. Um, and you're with me. You think this is going to be probably the big focus of the direct?
I think it would either be that or Luigi's Mansion.
Okay. Why don't we talk about Luigi's Mansion next?
All right, yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm blown away that this game is a thing.
I was very surprised to find out, and the fact that it's like a hotel too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hotel. Um, I love the original Luigi's Mansion dearly.
Yeah, I just recently played it for the first time,
Hmm.
and I loved every bit of it.
It's a really good Resident Evil game.
Definitely.
Um, I never played Dark Moon, but the criticisms I've heard of Dark Moon makes me not really want to play Dark Moon. I really like the how with Luigi's Mansion it was the one mansion and the mansion itself was a puzzle and you progressed through different shortcuts, alleyways, basements, different layers, different rooms, and it was all focused on the singular mansion and learning it inside and out. What 2 did was it made a level based, it was a bunch of different mansions.
Oh,
Yeah. So it was like you're on call Luigi Ghostbuster, not like you have this one problem you have to solve.
gotcha. I could definitely see, just from what we've seen and like what can easily be speculated from it, it's definitely going to be just that hotel.
Yeah,
I could like you can see like Mario and Peaches and Toad's suitcases, I think too. So it could be like a, oh, they go on a vacation, but then the vacation goes wrong because the hotel's actually haunted.
that'd be very cool, like Sunshine style, like
Yeah,
their vacation gets interrupted. That'd be really cool, actually. Um, I know there's a lot of speculation. Uh, well, we can save this for a little bit later. I want to talk about the hotel. I think, like what you were saying, centralizing it in the hotel is a good idea because it's kind of the best of both worlds where different layers of the hotel they could feel uniquely different. It could just be like floor 5 is like the tropical themed layer of the hotel. You know how like hotels have like gimmicky rooms?
yeah. Each floor definitely should have some sort of
Hmm.
fun theme or gimmick.
Yeah. I I'd be more okay with something like that as opposed to a like what we were talking about with 2. Like this feels like a nice merge between the single location of one and the multiple different ideas they presented in 2.
Yeah, I could see them doing something like you're slowly working your way up to like
The
the
13th
last,
floor.
yeah, like the penthouse
Yeah.
suite or something, and that's where like King Boo is.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Um oh, I love like a basement too. Like just a couple layers in the basement of like a post game maybe.
Yeah,
Like a really hard gauntlet. It's like
yeah, they could even
Dry
do,
Bowser or something.
yeah, they could do something like how like the Zelda games have done it, where it's like a dungeon that you could just keep going in
Yeah, that'd be so
and
cool.
keep going down into the levels.
That'd be very, very cool. Um, but you did mention multiple characters in that trailer. Do you think there's going to be co-op in this game?
I mean, the Switch is all about co-op. It's
Let me rephrase that. Do you want co-op in this game?
not in the story. I
Okay.
think that as the story of the game, it should remain single player,
Hmm.
um, and then kind of do what like the 3DS version of Luigi's Mansion and the second one did, where they have like an online that you can do.
So, would you prefer to see player 2 be Gooigi like in the 3DS remake, or would you prefer uh like one of the Toads or EGAD is player 2?
I think Luigi is too boring. Like it's an
Gooigi's so
interesting,
weird.
it's an interesting concept, but like it's like just having a Luigi clone, like the different color Luigis or Guigi.
Hmm.
I it would be so much better if like, oh, now that you've unlocked Mario, you can play as Mario
That would be
and
cool.
use Mario Online and Toad and Peach. Like imagine like a Ghostbuster Princess Peach.
That'd be awesome. That'd be very cool, actually. Uh, do you? I think it's a mistake if this game does not release in October. Personally,
It's gotta.
like it
It falls
has
in
to, right?
perfectly.
Like, there's no way it doesn't release in October. I mean, for the sake of everything, I could see late September. Like, if there's a bunch of big games in October and they want to get ahead of it, yeah, sure.
Right.
But I'm definitely going to be playing through this game on October 31st.
Yeah, and October 31st, it's a Thursday, so they could release it like the week before or something on the 25th.
Yeah, that I could.
Of a Friday.
I'm hoping for something around October. Again, I'd take late September, but that actually reminds me, we didn't bring that up with Animal Crossing. When do you think Animal Crossing is dropping?
I would like to think August.
Oh, don't do that to me. The thing is, I kept thinking it was gonna be September because that's. I feel like you need a month of like normal time in that game before the holidays start, because once the holidays start, like that town is always themed.
Right.
So I feel like you'd want a normal month. In August, I feel like might be too early. I see a lot of people thinking it's December. I don't know about that.
I don't know, just with like the whole holiday themes that they do,
Hmm.
it wouldn't make sense for December. I think that like the Zelda game would be December.
Okay. Why don't we talk about Zelda next?
Yeah, sure.
Was there anything else you wanted to mention about Luigi's Mansion 3?
Nothing that I can think of. Just hoping that it's good.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I loved that first game so much. So
Yeah, as long as they stick more to the style of like the first one rather than the second one, I think it's gonna be a success.
for sure. But speaking of games I love, Link's Awakening is one of my favorite Zeldas, and I cannot wait to replay it in this amazing art style. I'm a fan of the art style personally. What do you think about it?
I love the art style. I think
Awesome.
it's so adorable. I love the Kirby game, the Yarn game.
Oh yeah.
I love the Yoshi Yarn game. I love Crafted World. I'm playing through Crafted World right now, and it's just so adorable. And I think that this diorama style
It's so cool. It's such a
is
nice idea.
adorable, and it's amazing.
And I'm not going to spoil the game because I would hate anybody to know what happens in this game, but
Mhm.
the surreal aesthetic of it being like tilt shifted in a diorama fits perfectly with the tone of this game. Um, so Link's Awakening, I will agree with you. I feel like December is a good place for this, but I would also not be surprised if it is significantly earlier than December. Namely, maybe August or September.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. It because it to me it's a big game, but I don't see it being their big holiday game.
Right, like I would expect Pokemon to do that.
Right.
So I can't imagine if Pokemon is say like a late November, I can't imagine Link's Awakening, a remake of a Game Boy game, which looks to be what the scope it is, coming out in December that close to the holidays, would sell systems the way Ultimate did last year.
Right.
You know, that's the only thing that I'm seeing with that scenario. Honestly, the entire vibe of Link's Awakening just feels cozy anyway, so that season seems like it would fit. As far as what you want to see from Link's Awakening at E3, have you played the original?
I played through about halfway through the original
Mm-hmm.
on the 3DS Virtual Console.
Right. Okay.
So I haven't seen all of it played through, but I have played through it, and it's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's such a good Zelda game. I love the characters and the world they present there, which is really what makes it resonate with me personally. I I think they could get away with fleshing out some of the characters and just making the world feel more alive.
Hmm.
And I still think the game that is there underneath it all is warranting $40 to $60. But a lot of people will make long videos telling you why this game does not deserve to be $60 for some reason. Is there anything you're hoping to see? Because we've gotten recent remakes like Resident Evil 2, even Nintendo, they've remade something like Luigi's Mansion recently. Like, as far as the scale and scope of a remake, is there much that you want to see changed? Do you want like them to add a dungeon or something? Like, do you think a simple reimagining of the original map and story is enough?
I think that they could definitely add um, either some post game stuff or like adding like you said a new dungeon, just to give people the idea that it definitely does deserve like the $60 price tag.
Yeah.
Like I'm willing to pay however much for that game. I
Hmm.
want to play it no matter what. I don't care if it's $30 or if it's $60.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like the story and everything, just leave it be. Just revamp it with the graphics,
Hmm.
but maybe add on some stuff.
Yeah, I think so when the game released on the Game Boy Color, Link's Awakening DX, they released a new dungeon. It was called the Color Dungeon, and you needed to have the Game Boy Color because the dungeon was only able to be completed through the use of different colors.
Right.
So I could see them add, maybe instead of recreating the Color Dungeon, maybe making a dungeon that's unique to the Switch. With whatever they can think of with the Switch's mechanics, maybe use that IR camera on the Joy-Con for something.
Yeah, use the IR camera, use the rumble feature,
Hmm.
use the gyroscope,
Yeah,
something like that.
I
There's plenty of gimmicks on the current Switch console right now
mhm.
that I think they could definitely add a new dungeon with a new gimmick.
Yeah, and I think Link's Awakening is, outside of it being my favorite 2D Zelda and tied for my favorite Zelda, I think it's a really good follow up to Breath of the Wild for all those people that played Zelda for the first time with Breath of the Wild, because this is traditional Zelda, but it's unconventional. So I feel like that's a really like good sophomore release for these new Zelda fans.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I'm just very excited to play this game again. I love it dearly. You did mention this version of the Switch, so I think that's fair to bring up now.
Right. So
Because,
there have been a lot of rumors
yes,
recently that Nintendo is planning on announcing
a Switch
new.
Lite.
Yeah, I've heard the Switch Lite and like a Switch Pro.
Yeah, so I only want to talk about this for a little bit because Nintendo, with their E3 announcement, they said, talking about Nintendo Switch software.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure they have said, we're not showing hardware. Again, they could be lying,
They could be lying.
but
They could be pulling a Russo brothers on us.
yeah, they could be straight up lying. I think that I kind of believe them because like again, this is another personal preference. I play my Switch probably like maybe 6 or so hours a week. Like I don't play it. I don't use it as much as I use my PS4. And for the amount of time I spend on my Switch and how much I love that hardware, trust me. Um, and the experiences I am playing on it, I don't know if I would necessarily buy a Switch Pro, especially if it is on the same scale of the 3DS to the new 3DS. Like I don't know if I need that upgrade the same way I felt I needed to upgrade from a PS4 to a PS4 Pro.
Right. I I could only see myself getting like a Switch Pro
Hmm.
if it was warranted for like a new game. Like if they were like bringing some games that were only on PS4 and Xbox
Yeah.
and saying, "Hey, 4K gaming, 60 FPS."
Even if they said like the next Zelda will be 60 frames only on the Switch Pro,
Hmm.
I would consider it, but like at the same time, like my experience with Breath of the Wild was fine. A Switch Lite, on the other hand, is the rumor for was going to be shown off sooner, and the Switch Pro would be revealed later in the year. But Nintendo again has said they're not showing it. They have been more upfront about answering that question than someone like Microsoft, who is also rumored to be showing new hardware. So the fact that Nintendo has made it clear that they're not focusing on hardware makes me believe them. I do think we're getting a revision at some point, whether it's a Lite or a Pro. So if they show it in the summer at E3, who knows? But I'm sure it's coming eventually.
It'll definitely come eventually. Even if it's just like a quick tease at the end of like the direct,
Mm-hmm.
just like not showing off anything, but just saying like coming soon with more information.
Yeah.
Like anything can happen at E3, but I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
expect it to be there.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what would be a great way to show off a Switch Pro?
How?
Demonstrating CD Projekt Red's The Witcher 3. Because The Witcher 3 was listed for the Nintendo Switch on some foreign retailer's website.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This was talked about for a while now. I feel like I've heard The Witcher 3 on Switch a couple times over the past year or two. But this listing is the first time I've seen it have any sort of substance to it. Do you think this is possible in any stretch of the imagination? Whether it's cloud based, whether CD Projekt found a way for this game to run well on the Switch? Do you think it's realistic?
They would have had to like dumb it down a lot. They would have had to like work on it hard, like they did with like the Bethesda games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could see it being a cloud game as well, because didn't they do that with one of the Assassin's Creed games?
Yeah, the only thing there is that the cloud based ports, if you want to call them that, have been exclusively released in Japan. So I don't know if the current Wi-Fi streaming based architecture is there in the US. But I mean, as crazy as it sounds, if anybody would be able to get that performance out of the Switch, I would believe CD Projekt would be able to, because they were able to get the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 to work wonders with that game, even though those were like on the lower end equivalent of PCs at the time.
Right.
So I feel like it's possible. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. It would be a wild E3 moment if that did get revealed. But I could easily see this be a misunderstanding, and it's just like a port of The Witcher 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like Witcher 2 plus 1, Bayonetta style. I don't know. But I'd like to see something from them, even if it's just like Gwent, or that the Gwent campaign game they recently released, Thronebreaker. Something from that universe would be cool and welcome on Switch for me.
Yeah, definitely. It would definitely be a surprise to see The Witcher 3 there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely would be expecting something else like that new campaign or the first two games.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if it shows up, I would be a little less surprised than I think they wanted me to be, just because I don't know. I just got a weird feeling about it. We're probably getting a look at Astral Chain, the upcoming Platinum Games Nintendo Switch exclusive, coming out, I believe, August? Late
I believe it
August?
was. Um,
I'm interested in this one.
I I am definitely interested in this one. It's clear, like we were saying earlier, about how Bayonetta 3 was kind of
Mm-hmm.
pushed back a bit. It would definitely be because of this game. They're without a doubt trying to push this game as their new big title.
Definitely. I I think, again, another reason why I'm a little worried about Bayonetta is because Bayonetta was announced, I want to say 2016, those Game Awards, or 2017 maybe. Yeah, I was 2017 Game Awards because the collection came out in 2018, right?
Yes.
So 2017 Game Awards, it's been a little bit of a while since they revealed that. Astral Chain was revealed earlier this year and is coming out in August. That's why the Bayonetta discussion happened at the top of the episode. But I'm interested. I think it's a unique world they're setting up with like this crazy futuristic neo-punk city. You're playing as the police. You got these weird connections. And seems like they're leaning towards a co-op mechanic.
It definitely seemed that way. It to me. It seemed like the whole Xenoblade Chronicles style of having that driver and the connection and like making that like a multiplayer like beat 'em up.
Yeah, and the world they presented did seem super appealing to me. Like it showed them. I was assuming it was like semi-open world because it looked like you were on patrol at one point and a crime happened and then you ran to arrest the guy that did the crime. So it's a welcome addition to the Switch lineup because I feel like exclusive wise there aren't many games like Astral Chain yet. So I'm hoping to see more. I'm expecting at least 5 minutes on this game since it is coming out this summer. And as far as the other summer releases go, I feel like it's the one we've seen the least of.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would hope that they emphasize it, and even with the treehouse, I could see them doing some gameplay on it.
Yeah, that's true. I could see that for sure. There's, like I mentioned, there's a pretty strong summer lineup for the Switch this year. I feel like they might just reduce a lot of those games to a montage because we've got Mario Maker 2, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Ultimate Alliance 3, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and Astral Chain as far as like notable big releases go because they are kind of framing Dragon Quest Builders to be a bigger release and it is published by Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like those are the big summer lineups, and I feel like out of those, the one that they might focus on the most would be Astral Chain, because we just got that giant Mario Maker Direct. We have had several Fire Emblem Directs at this point. Ultimate Alliance has that really long stretch of Game Informer coverage this month. So I feel like Astral Chain is the natural one to get a spotlight out of the summer releases.
Yeah, without a doubt. I could see it just being a quick recap of release dates, just showing the highlights of the game of each of those games, and then a little bit more focus on Astral Chain.
Definitely, I have like a nice catchy tune, cut the games together, show off the highlights of the featured directs they've had for these games in the past. But that was pretty much everything I had for giant chunks of the direct. Obviously there's going to be some surprises. There were a couple things I want to ask you, rapid fire questions. Do you think they're going to have a new style for Super Mario Maker 2? If so, what would you want to see the most?
I don't know about it being E3, but they will definitely announce some new style along the way, to go along in that empty space next to 3D World.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be like I'm hoping for Galaxy or like Odyssey, without a doubt.
Those would be interesting because I think similar to Super Mario 3D World, both of those games have unique mechanics that they would have to be separate. Like Odyssey, you'd have the capture mechanic, or with Galaxy, you'd have zero gravity to deal with more often than you would with just the moon mechanic in the special options for the series.
Right.
I would like to see Super Paper Mario.
That would definitely be something.
It's a unique enough style where you could have all those assets in the Paper Mario style. And with Super Paper Mario, there was the addition of being able to switch perspectives, similar to Crafted World, where it was like you either had the side-scrolling part or it flipped and it was almost 3D, but like it was very straightforward, linear still. That's a style I'd like to see, but I'm not sure how easily that would be able to be implemented. And it comes out, I think, 2 weeks after the Direct. So I'm expecting at least a reference, maybe some new looks at stuff. But I think it's also timely to see a new look at Smash Bros.
Definitely.
Uh, Dream character for this E3. You get one choice. Who is it?
I'd have to say Banjo Kazooie.
Okay, I agree with you. I think it just makes too much sense with all the Microsoft partnerships that it's probably going to be Banjo.
I've seen speculation towards being it the 10th anniversary of Minecraft that the Microsoft rep would be Steve.
Okay.
But I would rather see Banjo Kazooie.
Mm-hmm.
I think them being a classic Nintendo character would it would be a lot better if we got them, and not to mention the fact that on Xbox's Twitter or the Xbox president's Twitter, he's still saying that he is all for having Banjo be the
Yeah.
Smash rep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Phil Spencer's great, and I'm sure in a Ubisoft Miyamoto Yves Guillemot moment, I'd love to see Phil Spencer in the Nintendo Direct or something like that. And that sort of leaves us at a natural conclusion where I want to talk about dream ports, dream announcements. I could see, because of this new fostered Xbox relationship, Phil Spencer come out in the Nintendo Direct, announce that the Rare Replay would be coming to Nintendo Switch, and then that leads into a Banjo Smash trailer. I think that's an easy in quotes. I think that's something that is likely to happen. But what about you? Do you have any like crazy dreams, any brand new surprise Nintendo games you hope to see at E3 this year?
I want to see a Mario Sluggers game.
I can agree with you there. I would be happy with Sluggers or Strikers.
Yeah, I love Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii. That's such a great game. It was so much fun. The multiplayer was solid.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about that game was a great Mario sports game.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love it if they continued that and brought it onto the Switch, especially since they keep updating Mario Tennis.
Yeah. I like Mario Tennis. I haven't played Mario Tennis. I've heard it was very solid, but give me a very solid Mario Strikers, Mario Sluggers. I'd even love to see a follow up to the little gem Mario Hoops 3-on-3 that released on the Nintendo DS. Any Mario sports game I would like to see. I'd also love to see Super Mario Party get an update. Like honestly, they could just add 2 new characters.
They could add 2 new characters. I would love it if they added like a map, you know? It's very limited to those 4 maps, and
Yeah.
it gets old pretty quickly.
It definitely does. Like, I would, at this point, I would even take an expansion DLC. If they want to charge me $30, go for it. Call it Super Mario After Party or something, and then it had like 2 new maps, a couple new characters, some new unlockables, something. Please. Because, like, I don't want to buy Super Mario Party 2 already. Just give me, like, a nice little bow on the release that is Super Mario Party, because I think it's a good foundation.
I definitely thought it was a good foundation. I bought it on release. I bought it digitally, and like me and my friends at school, we would play it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a really, still, it's a good party game. I just want more from it.
Yeah.
There's a ton of other Nintendo IP that could show up here. I feel like it's like you could pitch anything, and I feel like it's possible this year. I see a lot of people speculating about the next 3D Zelda getting announced here in some, not in like some crazy way, but like
Just like a tease.
similar to the Breath of the Wild reveal where Link was riding on the horse and the guardian bow and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. I could see it. There's a lot of people that say that we're in the longest stretch between release and announcement of mainline Zelda games right now. This is the longest stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. I feel like it might be too soon still, but it's possible. But what about, like, is there any other crazy big things you want out of Nintendo's E3?
Crazy big things I would love to see some sort of virtual console for Wii, GameCube, Wii U. It it's been tested, I believe, in China that the Switch can absolutely handle these games.
Mm-hmm.
Like they tested emulating, I believe, like Twilight Princess and a bunch of other GameCube games on the Switch,
Mm-hmm.
and it would run so smoothly.
Yeah.
And along with that, like I want to see some more Nintendo Switch Online stuff. You know, Tetris 99 was a hit, and
Yeah.
I want to see more stuff like that, more like free Nintendo Switch Online exclusives.
Yeah. I think at least Super Nintendo games is a safe bet for an out now announcement during the E3 conference. I think that's solid. Again, ideally, I would love to see an out now for maybe like 10 games for the SNES, for the N64, for the GameCube, and for the GBA. That would be awesome, but I doubt it. And like you said, Tetris 99, that's one of my favorite games of the year so far. A new experience similar to that would be great. But yeah, I have high hopes for Nintendo's Direct this year. We had a lot of games to talk about that I feel like will fill out most of the Direct, but I'm still hopeful about some cool new surprises also.
I'd like to see some more stuff on that RPG that Game Freak was working out on.
Oh, Town?
Town, yeah. They
Yeah.
announced it back in September, and we haven't heard anything since.
Right, yeah, and that's supposed to be this year, I think.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure there's going to be a new promo for Dragon Quest because that's a big deal for them. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm expecting some new cool partnerships with Xbox or with Ubisoft, but we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, one last thing that it's not a huge thing, but it's just something that I'd like to see is Netflix.
Yeah, that would be.
I've heard that Netflix has some announcements for E3. It could just be that like they're going more into the interactive scene where
Stadia style.
yeah, where they're just gonna create more things like that one Black Mirror episode that they did.
Right, yeah.
But I'd love it if they just made their way onto the Nintendo Switch. I mean, we already have YouTube, we already have Hulu. I think Crunchyroll's on there now.
I think so, yeah.
It's about time that Netflix shows up there too.
That's the one more thing at the end of the conference. It's Netflix, like the chunk, and then it's a trailer for the Legend of Zelda anime series.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
That's exactly what they're going to close the show with. In the style of the introduction to Link's Awakening. That's what we're getting. But that was a beefy episode. There's a lot of Nintendo stuff coming from E3 this year. They gotta work and alongside everybody else to fill the void that is PlayStation as far as announcements go. I'm sure a lot of third parties are going to be hopping onto the Nintendo show that would have been at the PlayStation show. Capcom, I'm sure, is going to have some announcements here. Maybe Monster Hunter, a new fighting game. Who knows? They are probably going to divide those between Xbox and Nintendo. But, again, we have to wait and see. I'm sure there's going to be rumors over the next week or so. Fake leaks, real leaks, who knows? But thank you for joining me on this one, Austin.
Of course.
Is there anything you like to plug? You want to shout your Twitter out?
Yeah, sure. It's at Yeezy Season 2016. I usually retweet and show a lot of good stuff on there. So
awesome. You headed for E3?
Oh yeah, I'll be all over it on Twitter.
Has recording pre-E3 stuff today made you more excited for E3?
It definitely has, because like I've always had the speculations like in my head, but like to actually talk about them, it just brings on a lot more excitement. Yeah,
I can't wait. I'm hopeful for this year's E3. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
So thank you all for listening. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Chris N. Buckley. If you're here on JoyClicks, we have other E3 content that is up so far. I'm not sure what is up at this point in time, but I have a playlist on the homepage of the channel where you can see all the E3 previews for Nintendo, Xbox, Ubisoft. We did one for PlayStation because they're still impacting E3 even though they're not going. And yeah, keep it posted here during the week of E3, the week after E3, and the rest of the summer for our new Nintendo news, Pokemon news coverage, and all that sort of stuff. But until next time, enjoy E3, and good vibes and good game.